Hey everyone, Matt here from Dr. Running, and today we're going to do a comparison review, or should I upgrade episode, of the Saucony Kinvara Pro to the Saucony Endorphin Trainer. While they might have completely different names, it's very easy to see that one is clearly an upgrade for the other one, and it's nice to finally have this shoe sit in the Endorphin line as it should. And it makes sense now that it's got a plate, it's got the Incrediron foam, things are just starting to make a little bit more sense. However, this shoe is a large upgrade over the previous version, if we can call that the previous version. A lot of changes that happened, and in my opinion, it made it a better option. But as always, the purpose of this review is to help you figure out if you're interested in one of these, which one might work better for you, and then also if you're in the Kinvara Pro, should you upgrade to the Endorphin Trainer? And I think you should, but let's figure that out for you. Let's start out with specs first. So I'm going to do my men's size 10 measurements. So the Kinvara Pro is coming in at 10.5 ounces for my men's size 10, or about 298 grams. The Kinvara trainer, or not the Kinvara trainer, the Endorphin trainer is coming in at 302 grams or 10.7 ounces. So only a small weight increase despite some of the changes that have happened. And I thought there was going to be a bigger weight difference based on some of the initial specs that I saw, but when I measured mine, not a huge weight difference, just a teeny bit. When it comes to stack heights, also fairly similar. Kinvara Pro is 42 millimeters in the heel, 34 in the forefoot for an 8 millimeter drop. The Endorphin trainer is coming in at 41 millimeters in the heel, 33 in the forefoot for also an 8 millimeter drop. Now, despite the changes in the stack height, the Endorphin trainer is a lot softer, and the reason for that is the new top layer of Incrediron foam, which is incredibly bouncy, appropriately named, but it's balanced really, really well by the EVA and Power Run midsole underneath. So it's really snappy, really bouncy thanks to the 3/4 plate. Whereas I found the original version to be just a teeny bit firmer, a little bit soft because of the exposed outsole, but there's some massive durability issues that I've talked about before where this shoe just did not last very long for me, and I kept running in it even though I ripped the sole, and that wasn't the greatest option. So you want something that's going to last. In the new version, it's really bouncy. It does a lot better for some newer efforts that I'll talk about, but they now have some outsole pieces, which is making this shoe last a little bit longer. Yes, I'm still chewing through them a little bit, but I've already got 30 miles on this pair, and I've got almost 100 miles on this one chewing through this stuff. This is going to last a lot longer if you land at the poster heel. If you land at the lateral midfoot, or lateral forefoot too, this still isn't going to last that long for you, but if you're a heel striker like me, you're going to get some better durability out of it, but you're also going to get a lot snappier and bouncier ride. This one was fairly comfortable. This one gets a little more aggressive. The Kinvara Pro could handle easy runs, could handle some up-tempo efforts, and did really, really well at long runs. The Endorphin trainer still does very well at long runs, still can handle some easy runs, but because of the bouncier foam underfoot, it really does well at workouts and faster efforts. I've had so much of an easier time doing tempo runs, doing fartleks, and right now I'm really working on speed to try to build up some strength and get some leg turnover. This has been excellent, whereas this one couldn't do that as much. So if you want more pace versatility and something that can handle some faster efforts while still being that similar shoe that for a lot of recreational runners, this is going to be a great long distance race day option. I've really, really enjoyed it, but it's also going to have some better versatility into going faster, which this one didn't really have as much. It was still a really good, smooth ride. This one's just a little more relaxed. This one's a little bit more aggressive and can do a little bit more. In terms of the stability, these both still count as stable neutral rides. Now, stable neutral is relative because both of them have a little bit of lateral bias at the heel and the midfoot. With the Incrediron foam, this balances out a little bit. Now, still, the midfoot's filled in a little bit more. There's a little bit more medial sole flare than lateral. So if you do need some medial stability, both these are going to be great options. I will say if you don't need that as much, version 2 is going to be better because it is a little bit more centered because the Incrediron foam really helps kind of settle and keep you into the middle, whereas the Kinvara Pro is going to have a little bit more lateral bias. Both of them are going to be really great options. If we're a little more sensitive to one, I think the Endorphin trainer is a little bit more centered. When it comes to the uppers, these two shoes are also really different. The Kinvara Pro has a very low volume upper. It's very classic Saucony and kind of feels like the Kinvara a little bit. I know people didn't like that name. It does feel a little bit tapered on the pinky toe for me. It sits really, really low over the top of the foot, so very low volume, but really, really nice and secure. That it did give it that kind of racing style fit. It did take a little bit for me to break this upper in. Whereas for the Endorphin trainer, I didn't have to worry about that. There's more volume. Yes, there's still a little taper on that pinky toe, so those that are sensitive, just be aware of that. But a lot more volume up top, and so there's a lot more comfort for doing easy runs and just having a more comfortable upper that can adjust to a little bit of foot swelling. Now, because it's got a little bit more volume, I did have a little bit of heel slippage over here, but tightening down laces completely fixed that and totally alleviated that. So overall, I think the Endorphin trainer is a great update and well worth looking into compared to the Kinvara Pro. The Kinvara Pro, if you have a more narrow foot or a lower volume fit, if you don't want something incredibly bouncing, you want a little bit more balanced ride, which in my opinion, the Endorphin trainer still does very well because of the power run and credit run combination. If you don't want as much bounce and you want a little bit more rolling ride that works a little bit better on easy and more relaxed efforts, the Kinvara Pro is going to be better. But if you want that, plus being able, if you have a more normal width foot or maybe a little bit wider, I don't know if these come in wide, if you have, maybe not a wide foot, definitely a normal width foot because it's still a little bit snug. If you need a little bit more volume and you want a foam that bounces underfoot with still that carbon plate that makes the shoe really snappy off the forefoot, and you want that do-it-all shoe that can handle easy runs, longer runs, faster workouts, and can still be that marathon to maybe half marathon racer for the more recreational runner, or you're someone that wants to train in a plated shoe while you save your super shoe for race day, the Endorphin trainer is going to be the excellent option, and in my opinion, the better of the two and the better upgrade. As always, if you've tried these two, please let me know what you think. Is there enough of a difference that I'm talking about, or do you think they're relatively the same? Do you agree in terms of how the Incredible Run and the Power Run balance is feeling? What do you think about the upper? Please let us know in the comments below because it helps others coming here trying to figure out which shoe is a better option for them, because that's the whole purpose of this, as always, is to help all of you make better decisions about the shoes that you're putting on your feet. And like I said, hope this helps.